And I have to be completely honest with you, what is happening right now in the California desert is something I genuinely did not expect to be covering at an Indian Wells preview. But here we are, and you need to hear this. Indian Wells. The so-called fifth Grand Slam. A tournament known for its pristine desert courts, its quiet, respectful crowds, and its old money tennis atmosphere. Today, that image has been absolutely shattered. And the woman responsible for it is a 20-something girl from Quezon City in the Philippines named Alexandra Eala. Let me paint you the picture. Interstate 10, the main artery into the Coachella Valley, gridlocked. Not because of festival traffic or weekend getaway crowds. Because of caravans. Literally, caravans, draped in blue, red, white, and yellow. The colors of the Philippine flag, stretching back for miles. The Filipino-American community across Southern California, from Los Angeles all the way down to San Diego, didn't just show up for this tournament. They descended on it. Tickets were gone before most people even knew they were available. Merchandise booths sold out before the first ball was struck. The practice courts were so packed just to catch a glimpse of her warming up that security had to intervene. And the sound, that signature quiet murmur you expect from an Indian Wells afternoon, has been replaced by drums, chanting, and the kind of raw, collective joy you usually only hear at a World Cup qualifier or a Manny Pacquiao fight night. That's not a random comparison, by the way. We'll come back to it. So who is Alexandra Eala, and why does she inspire this level of devotion? She was born in Quezon City, and from a very young age it became clear that she had something special. Special enough that her family made the kind of decision most families only talk about. They sent her overseas, as a young teenager, to the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, Spain. That decision alone tells you something about the belief people had in her, and the sacrifice her family was willing to make to give her a Real shot. She made it count. She became the first Filipino player in history to win a junior Grand Slam singles title, claiming it at the US Open. And if you know tennis, you know that junior glory doesn't automatically translate into professional success. The step up to the WTA Tour is brutal. The margins are razor-thin, the competition is relentless, and the mental demands are unlike anything the junior circuit prepares you for. But Eala didn't crumble. She ground through the lower-tier ITF events, the kind of tournaments held in obscure venues with maybe a handful of spectators, just to accumulate the ranking points needed to crack into the main draws of the bigger events. No fanfare. No crowd. Just work. And now here she is. Indian Wells. One of the most prestigious hardcourt events in the world. And she didn't just arrive, she arrived with an entire nation at her back. Now let's talk about her actual game, because the cultural story is fascinating, but the tennis is just as compelling. Eala is left-handed. That alone immediately sets her apart on tour, because a southpaw serve creates problems that right-hand players simply don't encounter often enough to get truly comfortable with. Her delivery on the ad side tails naturally into the backhand of a right-hand opponent, which creates free points and unforced errors that wouldn't exist against a conventional server. But the serve is just the appetizer. The main course is a forehand that she has clearly developed under the influence of the Nadal Academy's philosophy, heavy, viciously kicking topspin that doesn't just clear the net, it jumps up and forces opponents well behind the baseline before they can even think about going on offense. You watch her hit that ball and you understand exactly where she spent her formative years. What makes her dangerous beyond just being another topspin grinder, though, is the backhand. It's flat. It's aggressive. It changes direction down the line with speed and precision that can genuinely catch top players off guard. You've got this heavy spinning forehand pulling opponents out wide, and then this dart of a backhand going the other way. It's disorienting. It's effective. And Indian Wells specifically suits her. The courts here are slow, the bounce is high, perfect conditions for heavy topspin to maximize its bite. The dry desert air also allows the ball to travel faster through the strike zone. It's almost as if the conditions were designed for her style of play. Then there's the mental side. And honestly, this might be what separates her most. Think about what it means to walk onto that court knowing that thousands of people flew to California specifically to watch you. That their flags are in the stands. That their pride is riding on your performance. For most young players, that weight would be paralyzing. We've seen prodigies collapse under far less pressure than that. But Alexandra Eala has been playing under the weight of national expectation since she was 14 years old. Every junior match she played was analyzed by sports journalists back home. Every win became a headline. Every loss became a national conversation. She's been forged in that fire for years. So when she steps onto a stadium court in California with 10,000 people wearing her country's colors, that's not pressure for her. That's energy. That's fuel. Let's zoom out for a second to the bigger picture of what this moment actually means. The WTA and ATP have been trying to crack Asian markets for years. China and Japan have produced major champions and hosted marquee events. But Southeast Asia, a region of hundreds of millions of passionate, sports-obsessed people, has remained largely untapped as far as tennis is concerned. Alexandra Eala is the door into that market. And what's happening at Indian Wells right now is essentially a live demonstration of what happens when that door swings open. The Filipino community doesn't just support their athletes. They mobilize for them. We've seen it with Pacquiao, the stories of entire neighborhoods going silent during his fights, traffic disappearing, the whole country holding its breath in collective suspense. That energy is starting to coalesce around Eala in a way that nobody in the tennis world quite anticipated. For the tournament organizers here, it's a windfall. Increased ticket revenue, sold-out merchandise, an atmosphere unlike anything Indian Wells has seen. But more importantly, the images coming out of this event, thousands of fans waving Philippine flags in a California tennis stadium, are spreading globally. That's marketing that money can't buy. It sends a message that tennis is not a sport reserved for country clubs and private courts. It's a sport capable of inspiring the kind of tribal passion you'd expect at a national football final. And at the grassroots level back home, the ripple effect of her visibility cannot be overstated. Tennis is an expensive sport. Courts, equipment, coaching, travel, the financial barriers in developing nations are enormous. Basketball, boxing, and badminton have long dominated in the Philippines for exactly these reasons. But visibility shifts things. When a girl in Manila or Cebu sees Alexandra Eala walking out onto a packed stadium court to the sound of thousands chanting her name, something shifts. The dream becomes real. The path becomes imaginable. That matters more than any ranking point or prize check. None of this happens without a team, of course. The Eala family made sacrifices that are hard to fully articulate, uprooting, investing, believing in a vision when there was no guarantee it would pay off. The coaches at the Rafa Nadal Academy recognized something in her and provided the kind of elite, unrelenting environment where raw talent gets refined into professional weaponry. Every difficult decision along the way has led to this moment, standing at Indian Wells, surrounded by the people her success represents. So here's where we are. You have a left-handed player with heavy topspin and a flat, lethal backhand, built for slow high-bouncing courts, mentally unshakable from years of competing under national scrutiny, playing in front of the most passionate crowd this tournament has ever hosted. The draw is deep, the competition is as good as it gets on the women's tour, and the pressure is immense from every direction. Whatever happens on the scoreboard over the next week, here's what's already true: she has the attention of the world. She has shown the tennis establishment what the Southeast Asian market looks like when it activates. She has walked through the gates of an elite, traditionally Western sport and brought an entire nation through the door with her. Indian Wells will remember this. The tennis world will remember this. Keep watching. This story is just getting started. And if you're new here, subscribe, drop a comment below telling me where in the world you're watching from, and stay locked in. I'll have full breakdowns of every match as they come. This one is going to be something special.